Hi everyone, welcome to our C++ tutorials for beginners. In this tutorial, we will be solving practical example using C++, where we will be making a program to calculate for a restaurant bill. Let us read the question together.
Design a program that calculates the total amount of a meal purchased at a restaurant. The program should ask the user to enter the charge for the food, and then calculate the amount of a 15% tip and 7% sales tax. Display each of these amounts and the total.
Here, we are going to follow 5 steps to solve this question. The first step, as we always do, is to declare our variables. So we are going to declare our variables. In the question, we also declare constant variables, okay? Our second step is that we will prompt the user to enter the food charge. Okay, so the user is going to enter the amount charged for the food. After that, we will then calculate the tip and sales tax. Okay, so we calculate for the tip amount and the sales tax. Both percentages has been given in the question already, so we are going to follow that one. Our next step is to calculate for the total amount. So after you've been able to calculate for the tip and sales tax, you use that to calculate for the total amount. You are going to use a certain formula for that. And lastly, we will display our results. Let's start writing our code. Alright, so we are going to start writing our code. Here, I'm going to declare some constant values, okay? So let me write constant values. That's my comment. I hope you do remember that in the question, we were given some tip percentage and also tax percentage. So those are the ones I'm going to create a constant variable for them, okay? So we had a tip percentage of 15%. So I'm going to start with a tip percentage. So this is the syntax for writing a constant. So const, you bring your data type. I'm going to use double, and then I write my variable name. Here I'm going to use tip percentage. Alright, and I'm going to initialize it. It's what? 15%, and 15% is the same as 0.15. Alright, the next one I'm going to declare as constant is my tax percentage, which is going to follow the same syntax. So double here, and then what? Tax percentage. What is my tax percentage? Alright, I'm going to initialize this one as well. So my tax percentage in the question was 7%, which is the same as 0.07. Alright, so that's it for my constant values. I'm going to declare my other variables. So I'm writing a comment here as create variables. Okay, I'm going to create some variables here. The first variable, first of all, my data type will be double for all of them. Okay, the first variable I'm going to declare is going to be for the food charge. Okay, so food charge, which is the amount charged for the food, which the user is going to input. The next one will be for the tip amount. So my total tip amount, total tip amount. So the total tip amount will be also calculated with a certain formula, and our total tax amount as well, total tax amount. Alright, that one too will be calculated with a certain formula. And lastly, you also calculate for the total amount that we are going to pay. Total amount. Sorry. Alright. Now that we are done creating all our variables, we need user input, okay? So yeah, I'll write a comment as prompt user for input. So prompt user for input. Alright, so it involves two steps, see out and see in. So first of all, see out, enter the charge for the food. All right, the user is going to enter the charge for the food here. I'll end my line and then see in food charge. All right, now the user will enter the full charge. What are we supposed to do next? We have to calculate for the total tip amount and the total tax amount to be able to calculate for our total amount that we are going to pay. Okay, so here I'll create some variables. I'll write a comment here as calculating for tip and tax amount. So calculate tip and tax amount. All right, so I'm going to calculate for my tip and tax amount here. How do I calculate for my total tax amount and my total tip amount? Let me start from the total tip amount. So total tip amount here will be equal to what? The total tip amount will be calculated by finding 15%. The 15% is our tip percentage, okay? 15% of the food charge. So this is very simple. Just write food charge times what? 15%. But the 15% has already been declared as a constant, which is what? Tip percentage. So you just write that one here and you are good to go. Our next thing is to calculate for the total tax amount. So total tax amount as well will be equal to what? The same food charge, all right, times our tax percentage, which is 7%. All right, now that you've been able to calculate for the tip and tax amount, you have to calculate the total charge, like the total amount that you are going to pay. Okay, so I'll write a comment here as calculate total amount. All right, to calculate for the total amount, you write total amount is equal to what? I will add my food charge, okay, to my total tip amount, because I have to add my tip amount, okay, and then I also add my total tax amount to be able to get the total amount. If you are wondering why the tip amount was added and not subtracted, here is a definition for a tip. So a tip is a voluntary payment made to a service provider beyond the billed amount to show appreciation for their service. Okay, so you, the customer, will be like adding extra money to the money you are paying already. That's why the tip amount was not subtracted but rather added. And I hope for the tax is very clear. So now that you've been able to calculate for our total amount, you have to display everything. You have to display our total tip amount, you have to display our total tax amount, and finally display our food charge as the question requested for. Okay, so display various amounts. Okay, see, we are coming to display the various amounts that we have to display, which I just mentioned. Okay, all right. In displaying my various amount, the first amount that I'm going to display is my total tip amount. Okay, so I'll write see out the total tip amount of, you can write 15% is okay, and then you bring the total tip amount outside. You have to first bring double layers down and then you bring your total tip amount here. So total tip amount, okay, and then you can add the dollar sign. Okay, you can add the dollar sign. So I'm going to add it. So let me add my dollar sign, and that's it. I'll end the line. All right. So this I'm going to display my total tip amount. I'm going to copy this and paste them and just make some small changes for the total tax amount and also the total amount. Okay, I'm just going to copy and make some changes. Okay, so the next line is the total what tax amount. So this is what I'm going to do. I'll just write tax here. So the total tax amount of the tax also at 7%. So 7% is what? And here will be the total tax amount, not total tip amount. So here will be tax, total tax amount. Sorry. Okay, so it's supposed to be total tax amount. Okay, yeah, that's it. Total tax amount. So the total tax amount of 7% is, and then the total tax amount will be displayed. And on my last line, I'm also going to paste the same thing. But this is going to be the total amount. So here will be total amount. Yes. So my total amount. And then for the total amount, I won't bring any percentage. Okay. So the total amount. So here is the change that I'm going to make. Yes, so the total amount is, and then my total amount will be displayed to the user. All right. We are now writing our code. So let's run and see what we have. Okay, so I've been asked to enter the charge for the food. So I'll say, okay, for the food I was charged, let's say $30. Okay, so I'll press enter, and now you've seen that the total tip amount has been calculated for me. So the total tip amount of 50% is what? $4.5. The total amount of 7% is also at $2.1, and then my total amount is 36.6. So the food charge was $30, okay, and then they added the 4.5 and also the 2.1 to make it 36.6. All right, so that's it for today. With the dollar sign, I think it should be close to the amount, so there's no need bringing a space here. You can just do that change, and that's it. So today we calculated, we wrote a program on how to calculate for a restaurant bill. Okay, so see you next time. Please don't forget to comment, like, share, and also subscribe to our channel. And see you in our next video. Bye.